What's going on? And I've got the wrong view on. Hang on. Bam, speaker view. What's going on, Fast Turn Radio watchers, listeners, replay catchers, gompers? What's up? Alan Mayola, what's up? Alan is the reason that I have these glasses, and I thank him so kindly as I don them every now and then and remember the Fast Turn roots. That is where this whole thing started. Uh, so appreciate Alan for the glasses. I keep them right here. It means a lot to me. It really does, because I would have never taken the initiative to do it myself. I looked at them, I thought about it, just never happened. But fast turns, it's what we do. I even just coincidentally have the shirt on tonight. So, and fast turns, if you want to know what a fast turn is, today's sales will show you exactly what a fast turn is. We had some inventory hitting the warehouse that I gave it to my team member, so I didn't know that it was even sent in. I did remember buying it. I didn't know when it was sent in. Didn't remember how many I bought. Didn't know that the shipment was checked in until I hit the order button. I saw my sales went up a little bit, hit the order button, and in 13 minutes we sold 3 sets. I went, that's kind of cool. I wish I had about 1,000 of those, and the markup was incredible. Paid about $8.50, selling for $25.75, and selling one every 4 to 5 minutes. Now, obviously, that would not go throughout the day, but I mean, those are the kind of sales spikes. And if you do that across a broad range of products, so it's fast turn, high margin. I consider that high margin. That's pretty much 100% ROI. Best part, Cindy Trost. No, it was not a back to school item, though we sold a ton of that today. No, this is a year-round seller. I am excited to add this one to my arsenal. So, I mean, it was so fast that I tried to go in to hit my repricer and just get it set up, and I was already sold out. I mean, it was just flew through them. It was crazy. So, no, this will be something that I source every time I go into that store. Very excited about it. Daniel says, yay, UPS just dropped off more work for me. I love this business. Yes, sir. UPS showed up today, dropped a little off, took a whole lot out. And we'll talk about this as we get into the road to 500K if you would like. But, what does a $500,000 business look like? Today alone, I sent in 98 items of my own that I sourced RA just in the last couple of days. So I sent in those 98 items. Michael Flanagan, who is in one of my mastermind groups, packed and shipped almost 400 items. It was case packs of 24, so it was like 192 of one and 192 of the other. So that's going to be like 384 units or whatever the math works out to. So almost 500 units went out the door today. You want to grow a business, that's how you do it. And it's stuff that all should fly. This is not, I'm going to send it in now and it's going to sell over the next 6 months. No, this should be sold out within about the next month if everything goes according to plan. If not, it will definitely sell out in Christmas. So Daniel says, do you have your stuff picked up from UPS? I do not. I tried to turn that on the other day. I had an issue with it. I am trying to set up the UPS Connect. That is my next step because it's just getting ridiculous. I actually had something ordered, so I knew UPS was coming today, and I didn't bother trying to make it to the store. But the items that I was sending out would not have fit in my van. I could not have taken them to the store. And this is August, so I know when December rolls around or November, there's no way I am going to be carting this stuff to the UPS store. I had a conversation with Harvey the other day. I was doing some sourcing out of town, and I said, I'm going to take this stuff with me out of town, drop it off, and then I'm going to buy more stuff. No big deal. And he's like, no, dude, you're killing yourself. Get the UPS pickup. I was like, why would I want the UPS pickup? It's all right. I'm just running. I'm going that direction anyway. It's a good sized city. I know they're going to have a UPS store. Well, sure enough, I get to where I wanted to shop and I hit up Google Maps for the closest UPS store, and it's 14 miles away or 14 minutes away. It was like 9 miles, but 14 minutes away. So by the time I drove over there, I dropped off the boxes, which I had a van full that day. The van was literally just jam packed. Middle seats were out. Had so many boxes going out. It was ridiculous. Totally full. top to bottom, front to back. Excuse me. So that took time to load into the UPS store, have them scan it, weigh it, all that kind of stuff, and then drove back the 14 minutes back to where I started from. And suddenly I'm 45 minutes later than when I planned to start. That's money. Okay. There's no reason for me to be messing around with that stuff. I should have left it sitting here on my porch thinking, nobody's going to steal it. If they stole it, that would have stunk. But I should have left it on my porch, went and gone and done what I had to do, and have UPS come pick it up while I'm out. There was no reason for me to spend that 45 minutes. And that was just like done. As soon as I can get this thing set up, and I meant to do it today and it just didn't happen, but as soon as I can get it set up, I am done going to the UPS store. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. I am wasting way too much time. So yeah, Diana says, are you getting pickup? Welcome to the big time. Laugh out loud. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's just gotten to the point where the business is growing to where it doesn't make sense. And there are days where I cannot fit everything in the van. It's just the way it is. And Svetlana, of course, likes watching the UPS men come and load up her boxes because that's just how she is. I won't read the full thing that she wrote. Svetlana's funny. She's crazy. But yeah, so my van is running out of room. Okay. There have been instances, like I just said, where I can't take everything to the UPS store. Okay. One way around that, stop going to the UPS store, right? Problem solved. But sourcing has become an issue. Hanging out with the young guns, doing more RA, understanding how they run their business, and I like that style. It kind of gets me back to my roots, I guess, what comes naturally to me. I love doing RA. Last year, I got lazy. Last year, I said, I don't want to do RA anymore. I'm getting tired of it. It wears me out, But now, working with them, seeing what they're accomplishing and how they're accomplishing it, I'm like, wow, this is kind of a whole new take on the thing. I want to do that. But what I'm running into is I don't have enough room in my van. So what's the answer? Bought a trailer today. So I am now the proud new owner of a 6x12 single axle, 3,500 pound capacity, I don't know what, covered trailer, I guess, enclosed trailer. So got it today. And yes, I am going to use that to carry all my cash to the store. So I'm excited about that. No, I have a lot of plans for it. But one of them was the other day when I did this out of town sourcing trip where I took all my boxes down. On the way back, I didn't have room. I filled up the van, no middle seats, stuff floor to ceiling, front to back, filled with inventory. I could not stop. I was done. I was done shopping. There was nowhere else to put stuff unless it was a passenger seat, in which case I couldn't see out the window. I could barely see as it was. It was raining. Side windows where like the sliding doors on the van are totally just covered up. I couldn't see a thing. It was awful. And the other day, that was the second time this week. The other time was exactly a week ago. It was last Wednesday. I told you guys, there was a store opening. Went to the store opening, filled up the van. Couldn't put another thing in it. I'm done with that. I am done having to leave and having to stop sourcing because I'm out of room. And I started this business in a Jetta. So when I got the Whale, that's what my kids that's what my kids call my gray van. When I got the Whale, that was just about a year ago, and I was excited to have that for Q4, and it was great. But it is not going to be enough for this Q4. There's no way. So the trailer, it is time. Cost me just about $3,000 altogether for the trailer, the hitch, the ball, the wiring, the labor to install it all, because I'm not touching that crap. It was about $3,000, and I should be able to make that money back the first trip I take out of town next week. So I'm excited. It's not for everybody, and I understand that, but for me, it's a big step, and I fully intend on taking advantage. I went to Sam's Club and I bought a pallet of something the other day, and they said, "Oh, if you buy it by the pallet, we can just load it into your vehicle for you." Thinking I have like a truck or a box truck or something. I'm like, I got this stinking van. You can't load a pallet in there. Yes, you can fit a pallet worth of stuff, but you got to kind of configure. Not anymore, man. Yeah, load that sucker up. Let's go. So Good times. Can't wait to get started. So that's a little bit of where things are headed. RA has become just a huge part of our business. And oh, Cedar, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Have you increased your help for processing? Absolutely. I talked to Teresa, who is my team member, who helps me with the processing. And usually I just send her my online orders. And I really don't do a lot of online arbitrage because I'm not good at it. I lose interest very quickly trying to sit in front of a computer and find deals. It does not interest me. If I stumble across one, yeah, I'll grab it up in a heartbeat, no problem. But if I have to just sit here for hours and hours and hours looking for deals, I get bored and I don't do it. So anyway, I used to send pretty much just my few online deals to her. I talked to her the other day, had a very serious conversation because she still works a full-time job. I said, are you going to be able to take over my processing? Can you do it all? And she said, yeah, I can. I said, okay. I went out, I filled up the van, I brought it back, and I said, here, this is yours. She's like, oh, wow, awesome. I came back the next day, I had a van full. I said, here, this is yours. She said, oh my God. I said, can you do it? She's like, yeah. She had that stuff busted out quicker than I ever would have. She got it all out. She was like, well, what about these? I was like, nah, that's more Halloween geared stuff. Don't worry about that. That does not have to go in right now. I said, but yeah, these backpacks, yeah, get the freaking backpacks in. Let's get that stuff making money. So she prioritized, came back to me and said, I sent this, and this. I said, that's exactly what I would have done. Love it. Yes. The stuff that's a little further out does not have to go in right now. And it's working like clockwork. And the more I give her, the more she is. There is a reason when I left AT&T and I said, I'm scaling you away from this place. The more I give her, the harder you push her, the more she produces. It is freaking insane. And I'm not pushing her like, cracking the whip type stuff. It's just the more work I give her, she's like driven to just get it done. And it's amazing. I didn't expect that stuff that I dropped off to go out the next day. I expected it 2-3 days down the road, and I would have been okay with that. I wouldn't have been happy just because, man, I want it in, but that's what I expected because I knew it was a lot of stuff and it was a lot of one-offs. So it was 63 items in one shipment that I saw today that's there, that it was, one bra this size, one bra that size, just killer one-offs. And she got all that stuff just like done in a day. It just blew me away. So yeah, I'm giving her more and more work to do. Very excited about the way, and I'm going to give her a bonus because she kicked freaking butt and she's making me a ton of money right now. Don't tell her I said that, but I mean, that's I'll show you the numbers in a minute, but it's all because of what she sent in. So more than happy to do that. Diana said, do you give her labels? Yes, I buy all her office supplies. I don't want to get too much into is she an employee or a 1099 worker or whatever, but yes, I do pay for office supplies for her. If she needs a printer, I bought her a printer. I give her a cash card. So it's like a debit card, preloaded cash card, whatever you want to call it. So I just load cash on there. If she needs to buy supplies, she does it. If she needs to buy labels, she does it. That's kind of like my way of running a company card is to buy prepaid MasterCards and Visas. She does list the items. She prices the items. She is not just a prep person. No, she goes in. She has a Scan Power list account. I actually paid for her own separate list account because what we ran into is when we were both trying to work on mine and she was a sub user, it would only accept one address at a time. So it would think that whether she was putting the stuff in or I was, it saw the addresses the same. So it would start adding her items to my shipments. We were like, no, that can't work, because this stuff is not all going in the same box. So I bought her own separate account that she lists on, but it's tied to my information. And she can sit there and build shipments and I can build shipments and it works perfectly. Had a few bumps in the beginning, but we've got it all ironed out. And yeah, so she basically, I trust her to do all that stuff. I'm not trying to tell her how to price. I don't check her prepping. If she has any questions, she'll give me a call, but that's once in a blue moon. She's awesome. So couldn't be happier. All right. So yeah, that's part of how we've grown recently. more RA. Of course, it's back to school time, so that helps. You know, a lot of wholesale back to school. You guys know I killed it by last year's standards with back to school. We were doing about $10,000 a month at this time. Well, actually, we did like 10,000 in May. Then June and July, I really focused on launching my coaching course. That's when coaching became big. So you've seen, you know, June and July were just awful, like 5,000, 7,000. And then August, all of a sudden we jumped up to almost 20,000 last year. And that was a lot of because of the back to school wholesale and, you know, a little bit of the back to school, all right, not a whole lot, but, you know, that was great. I really enjoyed it. But this year I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I was doing. I didn't do enough of it, but I think I did enough that we're going to get to the 50,000 between the RA, between what I've learned from other people and between what I already learned for myself last year, kind of the experience from last year. So it's just all kind of come together. What in the world I'm going to do in September, I have no idea. But this year or this month I got nailed. So it's been a lot of fun. And why don't we go ahead and go over the numbers now if you guys are interested. Excuse me, if you guys are interested. They kind of stuck up on me. I apologize. Just saw Mike's message where I said I was going to talk about him. He said, "Uh-oh, nah, it's good stuff." Mike is killing it. His warehouse has saved us a ton of money in the shipping aspect. His prep team is amazing. I mean, they're knocking out hundreds of units in a day. They prepped 400 units. Now it was a lot of commingled, which helps, but still, that stuff I didn't have to weigh, I didn't have to find, I didn't have to touch, and you know he's blowing it out the door in you know 400 units. Like he said at like maybe noon, "Hey, this stuff's here and ready to go." Cool. Send him the labels. I mean, it was out the door same day. So that on top of the saved shipping fees is just amazing. Yes, that is wholesale. And oh, well, let's get into the road 500K. We can talk about other stuff in a minute if we need to. Man, my brain's just going 1,000 miles an hour. I didn't think I had anything to talk about tonight, but now I just got all kinds of ideas. All right, let's do the screen share. And I assume you guys can see my screen, correct? You should be looking at my Seller Central dashboard. Anybody? Somebody? Just somebody type Y. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. That's all I needed. Cool. All good. All right. I get nervous because I never really know for sure. Okay. So here we go. Let's start with this one. Amazon lending. Amazon has offered $34,000 to yours truly. In case you did not see that post in Fast Turn Radio, you guys know I am vehemently opposed to borrowing, but it was cool to see that we were offered $34,000 because one, holy crap, that's a lot of money, and two, apparently we're doing something right because they offered us that loan. They at least believe in our business enough to offer us money. So that part I did like. I like the fact that they offered the money. Am I going to take it? Not at all. Daniel got 11K. That's awesome because, dude, you have not been selling for long, so you are doing things the right way, I guess. You know, by my standards, that is actually a good indicator. Offered, not taken. Good. I like that too. Not a fan of going into debt to run this business, especially on a loan. I talked with Harvey about that a couple of weeks ago. If you saw that show, he and I have polar opposite opinions, but hey, it's what makes the world go round. You know, I did 17 MF orders in the last 7 days. So that I did a little work on. That was out of my you know, that was out of my normal habits. That was me trying to expand, and dude, it was profitable as you could ever imagine. It was awesome. As you see by our sales, 7-day is a little over 15,000, 15-day a little over 31,000, and 30-day at 44,000. So really, this is kind of this month, and then the 30-day. So the 7 and 15-day is all this month, and then 30-day that kind of adds in the end of July, which was not great for us. We were kind of gearing up towards our big back to school push, and that's what you're seeing now. And Diana Dunlap says, "I am so torn about debt." Michelle nails it and says, "Diana, no need to be torn. Just don't do it." That's my take. Just don't do it. I don't play with credit cards. I don't play with loans. It's not my thing. And, you know, when you can sleep under a paid for roof, it's kind of nice. It's just, yeah, it's kind of nice. What kind of things are you MFing, Hazmat? I'll leave it at that, but just some very, very profitable. Okay. So I am not going to MF something if I make like $6 on it. There's no way. So this is high margin hazmat that I said, this is worth the effort. Does it make bubbles? No. I'm not selling bubble makers. I'm not selling bubble wrap makers. I don't even know what that means. Does it make bubbles? But no, it doesn't make, it makes money. All right. So I talked about the disbursement. Remember, we just got dispersed on Friday. So we're like 5 days into it. Our last disbursement I thought was fantastic at $13,500. But the balance right now is over $7,600. So our disbursement is going to be huge, I think. I am so excited. You know, I really think we have at least a chance to rival December of last year. We won't hit it, but we had 2 disbursements, I think 23 and 27,000. I'm expecting to at least be close to 20. There's no reason for things to slow down. We have so much hitting the warehouse still that there's no reason for this money not to keep cranking the way it has been. We did not hit 2K yesterday for the first time in 8 days. So we had 8 days straight of hitting 2,000 in sales. And then yesterday we only did 1,500, basically because we ran out of inventory. There was really no other reason. It wasn't that, oh my God, Amazon turned off the selling machine or any of that. It was just straight up that we ran out of inventory. We had some delays from our wholesaler. I'm actually going to end the screen share for just a second because I'm going to have to refresh anyway. I've been talking for too long. But let me go over this real quick. We worked with a new wholesaler to try to get direct shipping to Amazon. So they were reluctant at first, but I talked to them and said, hey, we've spent a lot of money with you guys. If we could just get you to do this thing, that'll keep it from shipping from you to us to Amazon. And, you know, they're in the Midwest. So it's coming from the Midwest down to Georgia and then going back to, for us, Kentucky, which I don't know if you consider that Midwest or not. I think it is. You know, depends on where you're at as to what you consider. But Midwest, Southeast, maybe, I don't know, crap, Kentucky. So it's coming from Midwest, Georgia, Kentucky. That's a lot of area. Why not just go Midwest straight to Kentucky? So I convinced them to at least try it. And part of the reason we had a hiccup yesterday was that I've been waiting for 9 days. From the time they told us that it had shipped, it's been 9 days. And I was pretty worried that the package was just lost. I did not understand why it was taking so long. There was no tracking data, any of that kind of stuff. Today, it finally showed up in the tracking. So they had it at the warehouse for a long, long time. But now that's going in. So on top of the 400 units that Mike sent, on top of the 100 units that I sent, we have another 400 units that's going direct from the manufacturer, excuse me, or the wholesaler to Amazon. So I'm telling you, there's tons of stuff going in. And I say all this because I want you to understand, one, what it takes to hit these kind of numbers, hundreds and hundreds of units, thousands and thousands of dollars. But then also understand just what it takes, what some of your options are, and what the other side of it looks like. Okay, so $2,000 a day, because we're sending all these units, it just makes sense when you're doing that kind of volume that it's going to come back around and that money's going to compound and those sales are going to increase. It's more activity leads to more sales, leads to more money. And these are all very profitable items. So please don't ask the profit question. I can't tell you off the top of my head because crap, there's so much money moving around right now. It's insane. But that's all of some of the stuff that we've been able to do. And I'm excited about it because as those hundreds and hundreds of units hit, they're selling dozens a day. So it's just, it's fun time. It really is. All right. Gat family says, did you Do your own bundles for back to school or go deep in different items such as backpacks. I did not create any bundles this year. The one that I was going to create as soon as I saw some stuff was already created by somebody else. They nailed it. I said, that's a great bundle. I need to get on those. And I didn't buy nearly enough quickly enough. Wholesalers sold out of a lot of the units. I was able to do a handful, a few dozen, but I did not get to do the hundreds that I wanted to. That happens. Excuse me. But I have hundreds of other units that we did go deep on. I have hundreds of RA units. It's just a mix. It's a total mix of stuff. I mean, I'm sitting here. I know I keep looking away from the camera, and I don't mean not to look at you guys. I'm trying to think back on all the stuff that I've done in the last 3 and 4 weeks to get here, and so that you guys know that it's possible. I've done the out of town sourcing. Get off your butt and go do some out of town sourcing. I've done the networking, bought the trailer, worked with a wholesaler to send direct for me, got with Mike to do some warehouse work for us. I paid people to prep, I think, at some point. I don't know. I'm sure I did. It's just a lot of different sources, and it's just all come together, and it's exciting. It's freaking exciting. When I've got money going in that is just going to throw money right back out, and it's going to blow through. I mean, we're selling dozens and dozens of units. It's just fun. You get energized. You're in the store spending a couple $1,000s, and you're like, yes, where am I going next to spend another 1,000 or 2,000? And you just crank, man. Okay, so what's that all look like? Let me show you. You put all these little pieces, bits, and parts together. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. One last note. Sorry, guys. One last note. Direct shipping from the wholesaler, in case you don't know, all you need to do, you get the weights of the units. So you get this case, and they say a case weighs 25 pounds. Okay, cool. You go build your shipment just like you would in Seller Central or through your listing program. For me, it's ScanPower List. However you want to do it. You get the listing created. You say it's 25 pounds for this box, and I have 8 of these boxes, and here's my shipment. You get that PDF file. You send it off to your wholesaler and have them print it out, slap the labels on the box. Instead of putting their own labels on it, they put your labels on the box, and now it goes from their location to Amazon. And you make your address their location so that you get the correct warehouse that Amazon wants, and so you get billed accordingly. So you do want to change your address to whatever your wholesaler or distributor's address is, so that you're building the shipments the right way. But there's really not a lot to it. It just takes some coordination with the other end, because you have to email those PDF files over to them, make sure they understand what to do with them if they're not familiar with the process. So there is a little explaining involved, but it's definitely worth it. Daniel, excellent question. Only works though if the listing is made with the original UPC code, right? Yeah, unless, well, yes. Even if you're going to have Amazon label your items, it has to have the correct UPC code, so that when Amazon scans it, they know, yep, this widget is going to this seller, and they print out the FNSKU label and put it on there. Personally, I did this all commingled, so it's just going into inventory. There's nobody to label anything, and I'm letting it fly like that. But yes, it definitely does. If it doesn't have the correct UPC code, you cannot do this. Excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, you guys ready to dig into the numbers a little bit? I know I've been alluding to this for a while, but sheesh. All right, get the refresh, share the screen. I'm going to assume that it's working, so if it's not, please tell me. All right, so again, we got the 15,000 7-day, 31,000 15-day, 44,000 30-day, and our loan. Let's get right into it. Business reports. So what's going on? How's it all looking? Well, that to me looks pretty stinking solid. That looks a lot better than this, but not as good as this. All right, guys, I'm excited. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to come across as cocky or anything. I am so freaking excited about how our month is going. I can't help it. I don't see numbers like these. unless it's middle of Christmas. So for us, we've never done a $2,000 day outside of Q4 and Prime Day. God, and Prime Day. That is the only other time we hit above 2,000. So for us to have a $3,000 day and to have two of them in the last week and a half and to be running $2,000 days, 8 days in a row, that's incredible. And for me to look yesterday and go, we only did, listen to that, we only did 1,500. That is a whole new world. I'm not used to playing in that arena. Okay, that is not me. But that's what it was yesterday. I was like, man, we just don't have enough inventory. We're only going to do, I don't know, 1,000, maybe 1,500. Sure enough, we did 1,509. Today we're at 1,834. We will bust straight on through 2,000. No, we will not hit 3,000, but 2,500 is pretty likely. So this whole month. So let's get to the month to date and compare it to last month. Oh, and I'll show the top 20 categories in case anybody cares what we're selling in. Toys, office products, and toys. That's a lot of the back to school stuff. So no big surprise there. Got a little clothing, a little outdoor, got some luggage. That's probably some backpacks that fell into the luggage category. Good to, I don't know what's in luggage, but it's good to be approved in these things, right? Because I don't know if a backpack's really in luggage or if it's a backpack in toy or I don't know, whatever other apparel. It could be something in apparel, but I don't have to worry about it. I'm approved and all that. That helps. That helps a lot when you don't have to worry about whether or not you're eligible to sell it, or if somebody changes the category on you, you're going to sell it. All right. So, Michael Flanagan got approved in luggage last week, and it took about an hour. Congratulations, my friend. I was lucky. I got the auto approval as soon as I requested it. Don't know why, but I was happy to do it. So a couple of things here that jump out at me right away. One, we are above last month's total, and we are only about 2/3 the way through. So 35,000 versus last month of 31,000. But look at this. Last month, we sold 1,618 units. So far this month, we've sold 1,610 units. 8 units less, so pretty almost dead on even. We've sold 8 units less, but we've sold $4,500 more. We're selling more expensive stuff. Mindy, if he was on here, would probably be jumping up and down with excitement and enthusiasm because he keeps telling me to get my ASP up. Mindy, if you're watching the replay, I am a believer. Doesn't mean I'm going to go away from my lower price stuff, but man, am I a believer in the higher ASP. You want to hit $2,000 days, it is so much easier to sell $50 items, $40, $50 items than it is to sell $120 items. It's all $2,000. One's a lot more, one is a lot less work because it's higher priced units. So just my experience so far. So I am excited about that. So let's get to the year to date. Oops, let's do the custom year to date. We're going to go back to January 1st. So let's see, how does the road to 500K look? 211,000 versus same period a year ago, which was 81,000. So we're about 2.5 times what we had sold at this point last year. Okay, so we finished the year at 200,000. Double that is 400,000. 2.5 times. That puts us right about the 500,000, which is what we're looking for, right? So we are dead on target and excited because we've already eclipsed last year. I know this is the same date range, but this year we will continue to climb. While last year obviously is just kind of the baseline, so it's not going to do much of anything. Oh man, it's just booming. It's all coming together. We had sold 4,000 units last year. This year we've sold 10,000, right? So just about 2.5 times. I mean, it's all lining up. We probably spent 2.5 times as much money if I had to guess. So the more you spend, the more you sell, the more you make. It's a perpetual cycle. Mark says, how long have you been selling? We started selling in January of 2013. So that puts us at about 2.5 years. So been on Amazon selling for about 2.5 years. Um, so that's where we're looking. You want to see what we've sold all year? I mean, there it is. It's almost every category under the sun. There is not much that I have not dipped my toes into. Um, we're just everything we're approved in, I am willing to sell in. And it's not on here, but somewhere in this list is the one automotive item that I've ever sold. And it's just the only one I've ever come across. I've scanned a bunch, but I've only ever found one. But that's where things stand. And we got a $22 ASP. That is cool. That day that we had like 3,400 in sales, our ASP I think was 3,500, or excuse me, $35 that day. It was insane. So the more you spend, the higher dollar stuff you sell. More of it you sell, the higher it all goes. It's just the way it is. So that's I'm going to keep the show short unless you guys got some questions. Like I said, if you're not talking, there's only 25 of us, so there's not a lot to go on. But it's just, man, I am so excited. Here, you guys want to see detail by Asen? Just kidding. All right. I'm a little over your last year's sales. I hope my next year will be like 2015 for you. Daniel, it will be. That's something else I've seen. Let me take the screen share off. I've seen people follow exactly where I'm at, and I can tell you what it's going to look like for them. And sometimes they push back and they're like, no, because of this, because of that, whatever. No, I'm going to do better, or I can't do as well. I'm like, no, I see where you're at. I've been where you're at. I've done what you've done. I know where you're going to end up. Dude, you will be following in our footsteps, because the biggest thing that started us this year on this road to 500K was just starting capital. That $42,000 that landed in our account January 1st to start our business, that was the biggest part. We had more money to get going with. The first year we had $1,500. Second year we had $7,000. The third year we started with 42,000. That's that growth. That's the year over year over year growth spending that takes place. I don't know if we'll do 1 million next year. Don't even know if we'll try to do 1 million next year. Honestly, I don't want to do 1 million just for the sake of doing 1 million. If we grow to that, that's awesome. What I want to find is kind of that level. I really do. I don't want to become Sam Cohen. As much as I respect Sam, and he's a smart guy and he has a great business, it's not the business I want. I don't want a warehouse with 26 employees and millions of dollars in overhead, or not necessarily overhead, but millions of dollars in assets and the overhead that he has to deal with. That's a lot of moving parts. So I know I don't want to grow to that point. I know I want to be bigger than we are now. And at some point I want to, maybe $10,000 a month. If this business is throwing off a consistent $10,000 a month, I'll be good with that. Does it take $1 million in sales to do that? Maybe, probably not. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm leaning is, instead of an overall, I want to do this much. If we could do $50,000 a month, every month with a 20 to 25% margin, I would be thrilled. And then you throw in Q4 on top of that, and it's just bonus time. So anyway, that's kind of where we're headed. That's kind of where we've come from, and that's where we're going. And at some point, I do want to level off, and I don't want a warehouse with tons of employees. Will I get a warehouse? Maybe. I might get a warehouse for Teresa and myself, or maybe I hire one other person, but not a whole team of people. So that's some of the forecasting, some of the ideas that are going through my head right now. Is instead of just growing and reinvesting, to start to take the money out, in which I've paid myself quite a bit this year. I won't lie to you. I've had fun. Family went to Disney, all paid for. Went to Vermont, all paid for. We've spent a lot of money. But I want that consistent payout. And that's when I think it's okay to stop growing, when you've reached the point of maybe this is a good pace. I still love what I'm doing and I'm making excellent money doing it. Some of my random thoughts. Diana says, do you have a website to help you get wholesale orders? No, I do not. Gat Family says, nice work, Duane. My husband wants to do your coaching class. Do you have any openings? Yes, I do. Just PM me after and we can get you enrolled immediately. And my coaching, just so you understand, people that have gone through it know, my coaching is really designed for newer sellers. I created the coaching with the person doing $2,000 a month to get to $10,000 a month in sales. Now, is that going to make you rich? No, that's going to throw off maybe $2,000 to $3,000 in profit. But those same techniques, I will tell you right now, those same exact techniques are exactly what I'm using to get to where I am. It's just I'm doing them differently. But I'm still, when I find this big pin that I scanned and it was good, I'm going to go scan all the big pins. It's still those character themes so the ideas that I talk about still apply. They're just in a very simple manner that kind of get your mind get you in that mindset of fast turns, what makes them a fast turn, and when I find them, how do I find more of them? When I find a brand that is selling well, I don't care if it's shoes, shirts, socks, pants, bras, that's all the kind of new areas that I'm expanding into. That's why I named those few different items. That's all the clothing and the shoes that I'm still growing in, but I use the same techniques. I found this bra and it sells great. I don't care if it's a 34D, a 38 double D, or if it's a 40A, poor thing. Whatever. It's that brand. I'm going to sell it. That's what I'm doing. And so somebody asked me in the coaching if I was going to update my videos. And I thought long and hard about that, because I said, well, can you teach us this new stuff that you've learned? It's not really teachable other than you understand the basics. And yes, the young guns have opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, but it's different stuff. Or I'm sorry, it's the same stuff and it applied in a slightly different way. But when you get back to the core, it's still big pins. But instead of, I'll give you one little hint, instead of maybe a big pin, it's like, hey, can I start selling cases of big pins? Okay, so it's a little bit of shift that way. As in, I don't want to sell $5 items for 15. I want to sell $50 items for 150. That's the only big eye-opening thing that I can put my finger on. The rest of it is just the networking that is very intangible, but it's there and it works. But the techniques are all the same. It's when you find that one winner, follow the rabbit trail. If you're unsure about something, do some testing. I still test the crap out of stuff. Now, again, things have changed. I may not test with the 2 to 5 that I teach in my coaching. I may test with 10 or 100. I do testing with 100 units now. Bigger scale, same idea. And so when that question was posed, are you going to update your coaching? I thought there's really no reason to update the coaching, because the same principles apply. It's just on a larger scale. It's with more money. It's with more risk tolerance. And I'm able to capitalize on opportunities that when I had $7,000, I couldn't. I test with $6,000. I did that. And I got my butt kicked, by the way. Got it handed straight to me. I turned that 6,000 into 4,000 like that. It was awesome. It was horrible. But I had the ability to do that and find out whether or not it worked. If I only had $7,000, my God, I couldn't have done that. And I would hope nobody ever does. It probably wasn't smart that I did it, but I tried it. And I learned a lot from it. I learned just how volatile the market can be. And sometimes when you buy stuff planning 4 to 6 months out, things aren't going to go according to plan, and it can hurt a little bit. But it's all still testing. It's testing on a different scale, but it's still testing. It's finding products by the same brand. Maybe you're buying larger quantities, but it's still that same principle that runs throughout. So no, I don't think I'm going to change my coaching. Can you tell us what bombed so we can avoid it? Yes, I went in on a buy with some big name sellers. That was my mistake. I went in against players that had millions to my thousands. And when they decided to dump a product, I was caught in the bloodshed. So I could either dump my product and lose my few thousand, or I could hang on to it and just wait months and months and months and have my thousands tied up. They got in early, made their money early, and then said, tired of all this competition, things not selling the way it used to, I'm getting out of it. And they dumped. I was trying to play in a bigger arena than I was ready for. That was my mistake. So again, if you have $7,000, do not go in on $3,000 buys. You are playing in an arena bigger than you are built for. When you have $30,000 and you're trying to play with $100,000 million backed businesses, you're going to lose. They're going to eat you up because they can afford to dump that, and it's not even, it barely shows up on their books. When that happens to me, oh my God, it's a glaring, huge, big dummy sign just appears, and it's like, yeah, that was a bad move. But I learned who those players are that dump products. I learned who those players are that I can trust. So it was an interesting, thing to go through. But yeah, I was playing in an arena that was out of my league, and that's just the way it is. So I learned not to play with some of those people, and I've seen some of them on other stuff, and I went, I think I'll avoid that. Yes, it was a very expensive lesson. I hope you guys are learning it for free. I hope you take it to heart. When you see somebody that has 100,000 feedback, unless you are getting a tremendous deal, you probably should not be selling against them, because they can afford to take losses that you can't afford to take. It's ugly. It hurts, but it's the way it is. So that's a little piece of advice, a little insight. If you guys have any other questions, that's fine. I don't mind telling you. I'm not going to tell you products or people, but I'll tell you the experience. Now, on the flip side, excuse me, I tried some things that worked out very well. Put down, $3,000 and made $1,500. I was happy with that. Turned it pretty quickly. I've done the RA. The one thing that's really jumped out at me, because I got away from RA for a long time. Retail arbitrage, too much work, too much driving. I drove 2.5 hours one way the other day to source and dropped $2,300 at one store. I was thrilled. Went to another store, spent, I don't know, $700 at that one, I think, or 25 at one and $700 at the other. I spent $3,200 in that trip. And that's when the van was full, and I was like, well, crap, guess I'm done. I had a blast, though. And that stuff turns so quickly. Not selling wise, but just from the time you buy it to when it hits the warehouse. I bought this stuff, Monday? Was it Monday? I think it was Monday. And it's on its way to the warehouse already. I bought stuff on Friday that is at the warehouse already. That's an amazing turnaround time, and that helps when you're seasonally focused. So you've got a short window, and the window is closing. By the way, the back to school has not peaked, just in case you were wondering. But when you can buy it today and have it in the warehouse 2 days from now, that's pretty powerful stuff. So back to school, like I said, has not peaked. We've got another 2 to 3 weeks. It will peak the first week of September. I think that is the absolute highest that you're going to see ranks get, sales velocity go, all that kind of stuff. All right, Daniel, random question. Why does a seller that has stuff on back order get the buy box and not me, who is a few bucks more expensive? Notice that with a bunch of back to school items lately. Customer experience, my friend. Amazon thinks the best customer experience is to offer the lowest price. If the customer chooses that the best customer experience is to get the product sooner, then they have the option to click through and buy from somebody who's already in stock. Amazon's default is, I'm going to give the customer the lowest price. So if this guy says he sent the shipment and it's on its way and he's back ordered, then we're going to give him the buy box, because at $4 less than your 25, so this guy's at 21, you're at 25. Amazon's opinion, that $21 is a better customer experience than your 25 that he can get 2 days from now. If the customer doesn't agree, they can come buy your stuff. And I don't work for Amazon, and I don't pretend to know. That is my opinion on why they give the buy box to the back order people instead of you. Now, if you match the back order, you'll never see the back order in the buy box. If you match that price, they won't get the buy box. They're not going to be in the rotation. But yeah, if they're a few bucks cheaper, then they're going to nail it. Gat family, excellent question. When do you stop sending back to school stock? Pretty soon. I thought I had it all wrapped up last week, and I even posted in the coaching, you should be wrapping up your back to school. But man, I'm looking at the receiving times, And I'm thinking if you're doing RA and you're going to send it out now, you can probably get away with through this week. Really, really want to push it and you go wide, not deep. You go really wide on some really great selling stuff. You might be able to get early next week, but we're at the 19th now. Next Wednesday will be the 26th. That 2-week period, the last week of August, first week of September, I mean, that's where you want that stuff in. So you do not want to be buying a week from now to send in, so that, you know, you send it on Wednesday, it gets there on Friday, it goes in over the weekend, and okay, you have a week of peak selling time left. That's pretty slim. So really, I think you're looking at right about now, next couple of days. If you really want to push it into early next week, maybe you can, but I don't think I would go any further. Now, I've sat here and told you I'm sending hundreds of units in. A lot of that is back to school stuff. So I'm not afraid to go deep at this point because I know we're still on the climb. But I'm not going to send hundreds of things at the last minute. So it kind of depends how deep you are in those products as to when I would stop selling, but wrap it up pretty quickly. To be on the safe side, I would have it done by Friday. I am being a little bit greedy. I am going to push it to Monday. So, all right. Any other questions? We started a little bit early, and I do have a hard stop coming up at 9. So probably going to call it a night unless anybody has anything. In 3, 2. Then Mark pops up with Threads and Treads. Threads and Treads will be open on September 1st. We are actually considering that being the last time to join for this year. We may shut it down, not the group, but new members. We may shut down to new members because, guys, this is the busy time of year. Okay, you can kind of float through the first 7 months of the year, January through July, but man, come August, September, October, November, December, those are 5 months of bust your butt, get it done time. So, you know, it's a little bit of admin work that goes into Threads and Treads, a little bit of hand holding. Then, not that we mind it, it's just a fact that some hand holding goes into new memberships. So, you know, we're really considering not opening that during the busiest time of the year. It's just, it distracts us from our business and it distracts our other customers who are already established from receiving the attention that they deserve. So just fair warning, we will open up on the 1st. I am not sure if we will open up again the rest of the year. So just be aware. Lisa, thank you for posting the link. It is facebook.com/groups/threads and treads. And I didn't read the link earlier. If you are interested in my coaching, it is DuaneMalikCoaching.com. So if you go there, you'll see the links. Horrible website, horrible page. I did it myself, so that's why it's so bad. I am not a web person, but it will give you the payment link. And yes, you will have access to my coaching group. So, all right. Cindy said, when back to school is over, do you start sending in Halloween right away? Yeah, I told you I had some stuff that went to Teresa already that she was going to send in until I slammed her with a bunch of RA that she had to get shipped off. So yeah, I would be sending Halloween in now. I mean, don't sit on it. So if you have it, ship it. Absolutely. You know, the storage fees are minimal, and who knows when you're going to get a sale. So get that stuff in now. Yes, I will be focusing very heavily on Halloween. I did not do well with it last year just because I didn't try to. So definitely do not want to miss that opportunity this year. So I'm going to be focusing really probably maybe a little bit this week, and definitely next week. I will be focusing hard on Halloween. If you're in my coaching group, Friday, let's do it at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Friday. If you want to be in the brainstorming session, I will post the link. Friday, 10 a.m., we will do Halloween brainstorming. So if you're in the coaching group, I look forward to seeing you there. And we will have the full 100-member capacity that we normally have. Tonight, Chris Green had he and I share a Zoom account, and normally that's not a problem. But only one of us can have the 100-member Zoom account, which I did not realize. Yes, that is in Eastern time, 10 a.m. Eastern time on Friday. So we can't share the 100-member thing, and he'd already planned this big Zoom for 90 people at the same time as my normal fast turn radio. So That's why I gave him the 100-person account. I was like, no, man, you got this big thing going. We did not realize that. It's the first time we've tried to host a Zoom at the same time with more than 25 people. So we will be changing that and probably have our own account soon. But that's why we got held to 25 tonight, is just because he's using the big account. So I made it intimate for the few of you that joined. So I do appreciate you guys being here. And that's it. I don't see any more questions. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it, as always. Diana, it's always great to see you. And John and Mark, Darcy, Cindy, Cedra Gaines. Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Lisa, great to see you. Gat family, look forward to working with you if you choose to join. I hope you do. But even if you don't, hit me up on Facebook. I'm around. Kay's here. Hey. And Shauna, so many people. I didn't realize we had so many. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great night. We will see you next week on Fast Turn Radio. Hopefully the lovely KIB will join us to teach you a little bit about getting out of your comfort zone and maybe why fast turns is not the only inventory you should carry. So a little teaser for next week. We'll see if we can make it happen. All right. Night, guys.